Hello, I'm back. This is the first episode that I've recorded since my operation, and I'm so excited to be doing them again. So I'm 4 weeks post-op now. I'm doing great. It's just so good to be doing something other than watching Netflix and counting down the hours until my next pain medications are due. Honestly, I do not cope well with doing nothing. I've got a busy mind, and I just like to give it regular exercise, or it just goes a bit mad. Um, so what do they say? Is it an empty mind is the devil's playground? I heard that somewhere, and I think it's so true. You've got nothing to do, your mind always wanders, doesn't it? So I'm back. I'm recording the podcast again. Aiming for weekly, like I did before. Hopefully, I'll be able to do that depending on how I'm feeling. I'm napping quite a lot. I'm napping a lot in the afternoon, like a little old lady. But I've heard that's quite normal after a big operation. So we'll go with it. We'll see how we get on, but I'm aiming for weekly. So yeah, hopefully we'll have something new for you every single week now. And I'm just using this opportunity while I can't do any work on my business vintage twee, just to record a few podcast episodes really. As you know, I've had a lot of time to think. I've been thinking about everything that I want to talk about to you all, just to help everybody out there if you have got your own business or you're thinking of starting one. And even if you haven't, and you just like listening to another female who likes to talk about life and all the challenges that it brings, or maybe you're just needing some inspirational content, something easy listening, to give you some motivation, a bit of get up and go. Most of the things I talk about probably can be related to by like 99.9% of women in this world, I'm sure. So you might find it really helpful, regardless of whether or not you've got a business. It's full of some lot of musings and things that I have encountered and life experiences. And yeah, hopefully it will just leave you feeling inspired and ready to face the day ahead. I was so surprised and happy to read an email the other day to let me know that my podcast is doing really well, actually. It's number 25 on the entrepreneur charts in Finland, which is amazing. And I felt like I was on the Eurovision or something for a brief moment when I read that. But how cool is that? I've got a long way to go in the UK. I think I'm sold something like 148. It's not bad, it's not bad for a newbie. But thank you to everyone that's listening, honestly. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you're enjoying everything that I'm talking about. So what are we talking about today? So this episode's been inspired by recent events, really, in my life, which have pushed my faith and my emotional and physical strength to its very limit. And it got me thinking about what it is that enables us to get through, like even the toughest of times. What is it that actually makes us succeed? It makes us keep going and come out the other end unscathed. What is it that carries us through every experience and just helps us deal with all the situations that we encounter, the good, the bad, the ugly, both in business and in life in general? Well, I've decided that I'm calling it our superpower. It's that one thing that's unique to you, that defines you. It's always there, even if it's buried deep down inside, but it always comes out. It jumps in and it saves the day when you need it the most. And people may not know that you possess that superpower. It's usually a bit like a secret weapon that you pull out when you need it the most. But it's actually what makes us a survivor. It helps us, it always has your back. And most of the time, you'll probably find that it comes naturally to you because it's innate. It's something inside of you. It's in our genes, in our blood. It's our blueprint. And it makes us who we are. But what if we could use our superpower and we could harness it to help us achieve our goals quicker? Live our dreams in this lifetime rather than just waiting for them to happen. Because we've got it there inside of us. We just need to action it. So I thought it'd be a really interesting topic to talk about today. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And it's not some wishy-washy, made-up crap. It's actual, real ways of taking what you've already got inside of you and using it to propel you forward and to be successful at whatever it is that you want to achieve. So whether it is to start a business, to move it forward, to grow it, to, I don't know, it could be smaller goals like to get a bigger following, anything. What is it that you want to achieve? So we're going to look at how you can harness your particular strength, so your superpower, whatever it may be, to hit your goals, no matter how big or small. Now, my only goal at the moment is to be able to pour myself a glass of water and pull up my support knickers by myself. So, I'm probably not the best example right now, but it's a goal. I'm sure you've got bigger goals than that at the moment. So, do you even know what your superpower is? Maybe you don't. Maybe it will take the help of others who know you and who love you just to tell you what your strength is. Because we're always good at knowing our weaknesses, aren't we? What we wish we could do better, what we want to be like, what we feel lets us down and what we need to improve on. It's really easy to look at the negative and to think, this is what I wish I was better at. Like for me, I know I just always wish that I could worry less. I'm far too critical. I'm hard on myself. One of my English teachers when I was in, I think I must have been about 13, 14, in high school age, she used to say to me, "You're just such a perfectionist. You're too hard on yourself, Joanne." And she was right. And I'm still like that to this day. And I'll always remember her saying that, Mrs. Dean. And I try and think of it at those moments when I just think something's not quite good enough. I think, well, maybe you're just being a bit too hard on yourself. I wish I was more spontaneous, more adventurous. I could throw caution to the wind a bit more. And I'm not very good at making time for myself. Although I don't really have a choice at the moment, which probably isn't a bad thing. It's like forcing me to do it. I'm not the best at decision making. See, all these things that I can think of that I'm not happy with about myself, that I don't like. It comes to me easily, as it does to a lot of people. We're always focusing on it. I read the other day that the average person makes about 35,000 decisions in one day. And that's crazy, isn't it? 35,000 decisions. We don't even know we're doing it. There's a random fact for you there. That's why we're talking about decision making. But one thing that I do know, obviously I've got loads of things that I am proud of about myself. But I actually 100% know what my superpower is. And that's something I'm really certain of. And I think I've used it every single day of my life, I'm pretty sure. And it carries me through every situation or difficulty that I've faced, whether it's as a self-employed person in business and in life on a personal level as well. And my superhero is my sense of humour. Now, it's actually a family trait that most of my immediate family possess. My God, have we needed it over the years, honestly. One thing that we're not, my family, we're definitely not a depressing family, despite all the depressing stuff that seems to follow us around. And one thing that we have learned is to laugh, to laugh when there seems to be like nothing left to laugh about. We have actually gained true strength from finding just even the tiniest bit of humour on some really dark days and nights, really digging deep and finding a bit of humour and something to laugh at. Now, my superpower, sense of humour, I'm not a comedian. It doesn't appear to be related to the success of being an entrepreneur or surviving anything that life has thrown my way, such as this operation, plus numerous other things. And you might be thinking the same about your superpower. How can it be called upon to help you out of a sticky situation? Help you cope with a challenging time, or even help you start to run your own business? You'd be surprised. So I can't tell you how many times my sense of humour has just propelled me forward. It's part of you, and ultimately it's you that makes your business unique and special. So even if there's like a million other people doing the same thing as you, which a lot of us worry about when we start a business, everybody is always doing that, everyone's already doing this, why is mine any different? Well, it will be different because there is no other you. And that is what makes a business unique and stand out. So you could be doing the same thing as somebody else, but you're always going to deliver it in a different way. If you can harness your superpower, you can literally achieve anything. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples now based on my superpower. I'm going to give you some personal ones and some professional ones. Hopefully they'll make you laugh a little bit, make you think about your superpower and how you can use it to make your business a success or achieve your goals. And for me, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I've never needed this superpower more than in the past few weeks. I can't tell you. I mean, there's a hell of a lot going on at the moment. One day on another episode, I'll explain to you more detail. But it's been a real test of mental and physical endurance for me over the last few weeks. But I'm going to tell you quickly about how it saved me, how my superpower swept in and saved me after this life-changing operation I've just had. And who doesn't love a good hospital story? They're really entertaining places anyway. There's always something happening. I actually used to work in a hospital during my gap year before university. And honestly, it was the best job I ever had. It was so entertaining. Like, I absolutely loved it. I must have only been, 18, 19? And I was there for a good year and a bit. And it was fantastic for numerous reasons, including a bit of an exciting fling that I had in the medical records department after hours once. Again, a different podcast episode entirely, perhaps a different genre too. Probably won't go down that road. Anyway, it's safe to say that I wasn't looking forward to my stay in hospital after this operation. And it was a 9-hour surgery, followed by 5 nights as an inpatient. And I haven't done that since, gosh, I don't know if I've ever done 5 nights in hospital, to be honest. So I wasn't looking forward to it at all. Leaving my little girl, getting shut off from the outside world. I was totally incapacitated. I've never felt so out of control in my whole life. Like, I really haven't. And that's what I was most afraid of. And you wake up after 9 hours in theatre. You're on a totally different planet anyway, thanks to the morphine, which is not a bad thing. You've got a catheter in. You've got I had a minimum of 2 drains, 1 on each breast. I've got a 20-inch scar from hip to hip. You're under this god-awful bear hugger blanket. That's what they call it, a bear hugger, which is like a heated blanket. And it lies on top of you for a minimum of 24 hours to keep the blood flow going in your chest, just to ensure that all the new tissue from the reconstruction takes place. It's boiling hot. You cannot move your arms. Just think of T-Rex. I just call them T-Rex arms. You just can't move them. Or you can't move your stomach or your core. You can't sit up. You've got compression stockings on, which you've got to keep on for day and night for 6 weeks. Then you wake up with these bloody awful compression cuffs that they go on your ankles and they inflate and deflate every 30 seconds to prevent DVT. So you've got to wear them for at least a couple of days because you're not moving. You're at risk of a blood clot. You're literally stuck in one position for a good while, and you're just relying on everyone around you to help with your most basic needs. Now, for someone that's really independent, as I'm sure a lot of you can relate, it's just like your worst nightmare. It really is. It's absolutely awful. Every time you need something, you want something, ring your buzzer, which can be numerous times in an hour. That's just basic human needs, like we say. But on top of that, you get this thing called a flap check every 30 minutes for the first 24 hours, which is basically where a load of people come in, a load of doctors, nurses, they have a look at the surgery, have a look at what they've done, make sure that the tissue's taken. They put a Doppler on it, like when you're pregnant. I had about 8 people at one point coming into my cubicle, and all of them were just pressing and prodding me, talking about these bloody flaps for at least 15 minutes. That's what they call them when you have breast surgery. It's awful. It was humiliating. It was distressing. It was undignified. It was at the lowest of the low. I remembered that one of the healthcare assistants, poor Miriam, she came in to give me a bed bath every day. I've cried on everybody. Cried on the lady who only came to take my blood, and she ended up sitting with me for half an hour holding my hand. There was a Liverpudlian young nurse who I had a total emotional breakdown on. She was a pretty young thing, bless her, really smiley, warm and kind. She actually showed me these tattoos that she had on her thumbs. She had one on each thumb. One was literally 2 dots and a smiley face on one thumb, and 2 dots and a sad face on the other thumb. And she said that she wanted to get into children's paediatric medicine. So she said, I thought it'd be a really good idea, so I could ask her how the children were feeling. I could hold my thumbs up and they could choose an emotion. I just thought that was so sweet. And she kept doing it to me, how are you feeling, Joanne? Showing me both her thumbs. And most of the time it was a sad face, but I did get around to the smiley face eventually. But, she was someone that I cried on a lot. I lent on particularly. And And she just held me and told me it'll get easier. And then on a break, bless her, she went and bought me a bag of my favourite sweets from the shop, some Skittles, and she brought them up before her shift finished. And honestly, for the first 48 hours, I thought that my superpower had been removed with my breasts. I really did. I thought, where's it gone? It was nowhere to be seen. I am never going to smile again. I'm never going to find anything funny. What have I done to myself? And I actually spent the first 2 days with my curtains drawn around my bed. I just didn't want to see anyone. I could hear things going on the ward. We'd all had the same procedure pretty much on the ward, but I just had to keep my curtains shut. I couldn't face anyone. They even sent a mental health nurse to my bed, which the lady opposite, if she's listening to this, she'll be laughing at that. When they sent the men in white coats over to make sure that I was okay. I shouted at the physios for trying to get me out of bed, sat in a chair, trying to get me sat in a chair less than 12 hours after when I woke up from my operation. And I cried on this poor 20-year-old physio who's just trying to help me sit up, trying to maintain my dignity. And it was hard because I couldn't do anything. So he was holding my gown at the back. I'd already flashed him at that point anyway, but whatever, I didn't care. The point is, I didn't think that I had my superpower anymore. And I thought, finally, life has managed to strip me of the one thing that has got me through all of my experiences to this day. It's gone. It's gone and never to be seen again. And that made me so sad. But on day 3, which my sister told me, who'd been through the same operation, I actually turned a little corner and I managed to walk to the toilet with a bit of help, obviously, but there was no more commode. It was gone, thank God. I managed to sit up without feeling sick. The bear hugger, that horrible blanket that's on you for 24 hours, making you sweat, it came off. The ankle cuffs that inflated and deflated every 30 seconds, they came off. And I could feel the air on my skin again. I wasn't being touched or looked at every 30 minutes. It went to 4 hours. I had some space, to feel like me again without feeling invaded. I had a really nice bed next to a window which overlooked like a little park area. And it had a balcony on the ward that I noticed. And I felt the sun come through the windows. And at that point, I remember asking the nurses to open the cubicle curtains. And I saw 3 other women, just like me, who were going through the same thing. They were all at different stages, some a day behind, some a day in front, but they all knew exactly how I was feeling. And when I was talking to my sister about the whole experience, it reminded me of when I was 8 years old and I went to see a psychologist because I was having severe social difficulties at school. I suffered from really bad anxiety, and Mum and Dad took me to see the psychologist. Well, I would not talk to him. I always remember him, Dr. Higgs, and I used to put my coat on and my hood up, and I can see it now, and I'd sit in the chair and he'd be asking me all these questions and I just wouldn't answer him, and I just had my hood up and I wouldn't look at him. And I said to my sister that being on that ward with my curtains drawn reminded me of when I was 8 years old and I had my hood up and I didn't want to talk to anybody or see anybody because I didn't think I could face it. And Emma, my sister, said to me, when I told her that, I did eventually draw the curtains back and it felt really good. And she said to me, sometimes you've got to take down the hood. And she was right. I'm so glad that I did, because for the first time in 3 days, I laughed. I laughed finally. Funny things started to happen. I started to see that there was people there. There was a ward there. There was things going on. Me and the lady opposite, who've become good friends now, we couldn't spread the rock hard butter on our toast because we could barely hold the knife. And they give you this butter in hospital, come straight out the fridge, rock hard, and they just leave you to it. They spread it on your stone cold toast already. We didn't have the strength in our arms to do it. We laughed at how she would just spill everything and I would drop everything and neither of us could help each other. We laughed so hard at some funny conversations that took place between us all. One in particular, when the lady next door to me, she's an older lady, and she asked if we'd noticed if our Mary Anns had been moved upwards, which was absolutely hilarious. I'd never heard of that term before, ever. But we laughed and we cried. Our other ward mate, We made like 100 video calls a day to various family members. And we sent each other funny texts to keep us going when we were in pain because we couldn't get up. We couldn't go to each other's bedside. So we just communicated that way. And it turns out that our superpower wasn't gone at all. It was just taking a little bit longer to wake up from the anaesthetic. It was there all the time. And once it started to surface again, it really propelled me forward. Like, it really helped me heal because it lifted my spirits and it gave me this determination to get out of bed and out of that damn hospital and get home to my family where I could recover at my own pace and in my own time. And I often think if I'd kept my curtains shut, I wouldn't have been able to get my superpower back, at least not that quickly anyway. Because for me, I think the humour got me through those last 3 to 4 days in hospital. It's aided my recovery, even still now. I'm using it every single day, and it never fails me. So how can we apply our unique superpower to our business? How can we use it to create ongoing success? So let's look at it like this. First of all, you have to know what yours is. If you don't know, or you just find yourself being too critical and you just can't get your head around it, ask the people around you who know you better than anyone else. Ask your partner, ask your best friend, ask your siblings, your parents, whoever. Find out what it is that they say that you possess above anything else that makes you special. What is it that they come to you for? What do you have that they want? Maybe you exude positivity, maybe you're a person that never quits, or you're the most determined person that they know. Maybe your superpower is you're able to put others at ease. Maybe you've got like a massive degree of empathy or a level of compassion that goes above and beyond. You have something inside of you that is unique to you and that people love and will want. And once you know what your superpower is, you really need to think about how you can use it to make your business stand out. How can you use it to get people talking about you, to get people saying she's different, this business is different, I want to buy from her, I want to follow her, I want to see what she's up to next, because she's interesting and she gets me and she's got everything that they're looking for. Your ultimate aim is to enhance your customer's experience and elevate it to another level. You want to make your business as unique as you, because that is what people are buying into at the end of the day. And when you're spending hard-earned money, which, people haven't got a lot of at the moment, a lot of us, they want to know you and they want to know what to expect when they make a purchase off you, when they part with their money. So using my superpower as an example, obviously, like I said, I'm not a comedian, so you might be thinking, well, how the hell does she use her humour to make her business a success? Well, actually, there's loads of ways when you run your own business that you realise that you do have to have a sense of humour, for sure. It's not for the faint-hearted, and you need nerves of steel at times, like I've said numerous times, you do. But I draw on my humour to get me through dealing with difficult customers, makes me more resilient when problems occur, because a lot of people will shy away from the thought of perhaps starting up a business because, it's not easy and you are the person that has to deal with everything. There's no one to pass the buck to. There's no one to escalate any problems to. It basically starts and finishes with you. You have to do it all. So I've had to draw on my sense of humour many a times to get me through dealing with difficult customers, any problems that arise. I don't tell them a joke, like I say, I'm not a comedian, but I will deal with things promptly and professionally, and then I'll try and laugh about it afterwards. Not always easy, especially if you have a really difficult situation, but I do my best. And I also find that customers come back to me because they like how light-hearted our communications are. I like an emoji on an email as much as the next person. I am not from a corporate background. I'm not. I've tried it, hated it. I'm not saying, I'm professional in my emails, of course I am, but I'm not afraid of putting a smiley face. I am guilty of putting a couple of kisses at the end of a message to people I don't even know sometimes. Um, I try and watch that, obviously, but I'm very friendly and people like that. And, you know, at the end of the day, I play to my strengths because it's me, and it works and it keeps it authentic, it keeps it genuine and transparent. You know, I feel that it forms the core values of my business, like your business, like anything. Your kids, your house, your car, your business is an extension of you. So you need to bring your strengths to your business and let them propel you forward. So maybe you run, for example, a gifting business and your superpower is like an insane amount of empathy and understanding. Maybe you're that person that your friends and family come to talk things through. You know, maybe you're the first person they pick up the phone to because they know you understand. They love talking to you. So you possess this quality, this magnetic quality that people are drawn to because you've got this empathy and you've got this understanding and ability to communicate well with people. You can actually harness this, use it, draw on it to enhance your customer's experience. Now, how do you do that? Right, I'm saying all this, but how do you do it? So if it was me, if my superpower was, you know, the empathy, the understanding, and I was running a gifting business where people are going to be buying products because they either want to cheer somebody up, you know, it's a birthday, it's a special occasion, they want to let someone know they're thinking of them. I would think, right, how can I use my superpower to make that experience even better? Well, for example, I would probably pop in a handwritten note with their order. You know, I might say something like, thank you so much for your ordering from me. I really hope the recipient or whoever, if you know their name, even better, I really hope that so-and-so enjoys receiving this gift. It's been made with love. Something really personal. You could throw in an extra freebie just to say, you know, I'm thinking of you, like a special touch that's going to really brighten someone's day, especially if they're purchasing a gift that's, you know, for someone that's having a hard time. So that's one way that you could do it. You could offer a simple thank you email. It doesn't even have to cost anything to you. Just a simple thank you email, a personal one, you know, not just one that's been automated by your website that says thank you for ordering, but actually get that person's email address from their order and send them a personal email from your business account that says, like after their purchase, you know, tell them how much it is meant to you to get their order. Thank you for purchasing from me. You know, it's made a massive difference supporting a small business. You know, tell them because it works. Trust me, it works. Be you. And they will come back again and again, and even better, they will 100% tell other people about you because it's how word of mouth works. So I've received a beautiful gift in the post last weekend from one of the ladies that's in my group, my Facebook group, and I must have told about 10 people about it. You know, I've sent them the links, I've shown them it, I've sent pictures. It's word of mouth because I was so impressed. And she knows who she is if she's listening to this. Thank you. I loved it. So it works. Word of mouth works. And you just have to do something above and beyond what's expected to get noticed these days and to get talked about. And I did it a lot in COVID times. I told every single person who ordered from me a personal thank you. You know, I told them it's put food on the table. Thank you. You know, it's bought my daughter a birthday present. Thank you. And they loved it. And they responded to me and said, that is so nice. Like, you've really made my day and made a difference. And then they've come back and bought again. And I've still retained these customers to this day from COVID and beyond. Or maybe your superpower is your determination. That's definitely my daughter's, that's for sure. Most determined 4-year-old I've ever met. You know, maybe you're like a dog with a bone. You just keep going until you succeed. Like, use it. Like, harness it to get where you want to be. So if it is determination, keep going until you get your business in front of the right audience. You know, keep pestering that editor of that magazine that you've always wanted to be in so you can get some press coverage for free. Get yourself out there in front of people. Just use that determination to let everybody know who you are. Use that determination to catch the eye of an influencer on social media Keep going until you get your product stocked wholesale in a shop of your dreams. Whatever it is that you need to do to succeed, it's already inside of you. And I think that's one thing when you start your own business, everybody, even when you're running it after a bit, yes, you need money. Of course you do. You need capital to buy things. It's important that you've got a little bit of money behind you, but ultimately it all comes from you. You hear these stories all the time about people, millionaires, that start businesses from nothing. They've got nothing in their bank account. Well, they've not done it because, they've been lucky. There's a certain element of luck involved, of course, but they've done it because of the person that they are. And they've kept going and they've not given up. And most of us already have more than one superpower. So just think what you can achieve if you harness them all together and make them all work as one to get to where you want to be. So once you know your superpower, once you've identified it and you've thought about the ways in which that you can use it to make your business stand out, the next thing you need to do is take action. You need to execute it. Don't just think about how you can use it, do it. Do everything that I've mentioned, It's all about action. So for me, I will make a list. I'm such a list person. I've got lists for everything. Notepads for everything. You want to make a list of what you can do to enhance your business and make it stand out based on what you're good at. And I don't mean physical skills here. I'm good at sewing, I want to sell this. Or, I'm good at knitting, I want to knit this. I'm not talking about that. I'm sure you are very good, whatever it is that you do, otherwise you wouldn't be doing a business in it. But I'm talking about the actual skills and the strengths, the personal strengths, your unique qualities, your superpower that you can bring to the table and make your business as special as you are. Write them down on paper. For me, I've got my superpower, I've got my humour, I've got the fact that I'm so organised, I've got the fact that I love to talk to people, I'm friendly. Those things, how can I take all that and embody it into my business? Maybe you're amazing with people and you can make them feel instantly comfortable and at ease. And that's a great superpower to have if you do. And especially if you do face-to-face markets and craft fairs, you're going to be a natural at encouraging people to come over and to look at your stuff, engage in conversation, showing and telling them about you and your work. And, when I did craft and wedding fairs, I was always smiling, I was always laughing, it was very jovial. And it's like a magnet. People just used to come over because a smile or a laugh, it goes a long way, especially when you're dealing with strangers. And not like a weird way. We won't be freaking them out because you don't want them to come over and see you, but you know what I mean. I've been watching a lot of TV since I've been home from hospital, actually. My daughter's just started getting into Annie, the original Annie, which is a film that I loved watching with my mum. Because I used to look like Annie when I was around 8 years old, had the same hair and everything. And I think my mum just used to love watching it with me for that reason. But just reminded me of that bit when Annie sings, you're never fully dressed without a smile. And it's very true. I've actually got an upcoming podcast episode on how to sell when you're not a natural salesperson, which would be really good for you if you do craft fairs or markets. Looking at things that you can do to help your confidence in these types of situations and help your sales. So do look out for that one. I'm going to be recording that one soon and getting it out there. So it'd be really helpful if you've got some craft fairs coming up for spring, maybe. I'm going into the summer. So the last thing that you're going to want to do, once you've identified your superpower, you've thought how you can use it in your business and you've actually made the move and put it into practice, is tell everyone about it, okay? So this is the fourth and final thing that you need to do once you know your superpower. Tell people about it. No more hiding in the shadows. It's time to let go of this fear of getting out there. It's time to get yourself out there. Blow your own trumpet. It's not egotistical. It's not an ego thing at all, in fact. It's marketing. It's promotion. And in its very basic form, it's actually survival. Because if you don't shout about why people should buy from you, or why you're so amazing at what you do, or how special your service is, not just your product, you won't survive as a small business. We have to let go of this concept that people will think we're annoying, or we're big-headed, or we have a huge ego, just because we're on all the time saying, no, look at me, look what I do. I'm not saying do that, I'm not saying boast or brag. I've never done that. in the 14 years I've been in business. Even when I've had, I think the most sales I had in one day, I'm doing it now, but only to show as an example. I've had like 50 or 60 orders, something ridiculous one day, Christmas time. And I never said that on social media because I know there's people out there that may be struggling. For the record, so that is very rare that happens. But what I'm saying is I don't boast about it. It's not about that. What I'm actually saying is it's about telling people what you can offer. So why you are getting sales rather than the fact that you're getting them. I can do this for you. I do these personalised letters from Santa, for example. So within those letters, you will get a beautiful gift wrap. It's perfect for you to leave out on the mantelpiece for your child to discover Christmas morning. It means the world to me when you purchase these. It just, all these things you can tell people, be personal with them. Because people want to know that you exist, right? Because if you don't tell them, they're not even going to know that your business is there. Unless you have a presence and you make yourself known daily or at least weekly, your business won't survive. So you have to tell them what they're going to get if they buy from you. Are they going to get care, compassion? If you're a consultant, are they going to get a free chat? Are they going to get a handwritten note? Are they going to get samples? Are they going to get like a heartfelt thanks, easy communication, fast delivery, a loving touch? I used to order from this company where I got my card from. And every single time I ordered, they used to put me in a little mini bag of Haribo and a sample pack of like random gems and embellishments and bits and bobs that they probably had lying around their studio. And I loved it. I loved getting their packages because A, I thought someone's really appreciated the fact that I've bought this item from them, the small business. And B, I've got some freebies, I've got some samples here. And then most of the time I went on and ordered some of the stuff that they put in. It's a lovely touch. Another place I've ordered from emailed me a few days after just to make sure that I'd received it and I was happy with it. It was a nice touch. I always had a little handwritten thank you name, whatever they're called. So I might say, oh, thank you, Sarah, whoever, whatever name's on the customer invoice, because I normally know the names of who the item is for. And I'll put a note and I'll say thank you to that person. And I'll say, oh, I hope you enjoy it, or whoever's receiving this is going to enjoy it. There's so much that you can do to enhance your customer experience just by harnessing what you're good at. What already exists inside of you and using it to make your business truly stand out. So now maybe after listening to me talk about superpowers for the last 40 minutes nearly, you're hopefully feeling supercharged and motivated and ready to change, not the world, but your world, and maybe a few other people's worlds as well. My take-home message from this podcast episode is to be proud of what you're good at and what comes naturally to you. We are all given a gift, and I truly believe that. And sometimes we just need to go back to basics and just look at what we already have, not what we don't have, to make our business a success. Because for me, I feel like there's all too much focus on what we need to buy to be successful. If you want to start a business, you need to buy equipment, you need the perfect workspace. You see all these bloody offices on Instagram, don't you, or wherever, these perfect workspaces that are all white, that have got colour coordinated shelves and all sorts. Everything's in perfect order. Mine is only like that if I'm taking a picture of it, or someone's coming round who I want to impress, which hasn't happened in a long time. Other than that, everything's all over the place. There's papers everywhere on the floor, there's cuttings, there's scissors in the wrong place, there's not a pen in sight, which I find really hard for a designer. I don't know why there's no pens in my office. There's things hanging off the shelves, there's ribbon falling out of boxes because it's a working studio. It's not perfect because I work in it, and I wouldn't expect it to be perfect, otherwise I'd have no orders. So we need to stop focusing on what we have to do to try and make us feel successful. We don't need the most expensive software. We don't need the best work chair. We don't need the poshest guillotine or whatever. What we need is inside of us. We need to let that out. What we need more is what's going to keep our businesses alive and growing, and it doesn't cost a penny because you've had it since the day you were born. It's never failed me. And I swear that without my superpower, I wouldn't have got this far. And especially more so in recent times when the economy, it's not on our side, is it? It's a real struggle. Hopefully things will improve soon. I know this year has been really hard, and last year for a lot of small businesses, and mine included. But it does really make you dig deep. It makes you really fight for something that you want. And, you'll start to see signs of it working. You might get great feedback. You might get comments. You might get some sales, new customers. It's how you build a business. And it's not going to be overnight. It takes a bit of time, so you're going to need some patience. But if you stick at it and you be consistent and you keep showing up to let the people know what they can expect if they spend their precious money with you, you're going to see results, I promise you. Now, I hope you've enjoyed listening to this episode. I'm going to go and take my next dose of pain meds and watch probably more Netflix now. But I just hope it's giving you a little bit of inspiration and motivation, and to think really about what it is that makes you special and what is going to make your business stand out above all others. So do listen out for my upcoming podcast episodes. I'm going to be talking all about starting a business after the age of 40, what challenges we face when we decide to embark on a new venture, later on in life. How can we overcome them, as well as the other episode I was talking about before, how to sell when you're not a natural salesperson. So I'm going to do an episode dedicated to the art of selling, which would be really good, especially if you do a lot of craft fairs and markets where you meet people face to face. Plus loads more. That's just a couple that I've got on my list in my podcast notepad. So thank you so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, please do take the time just to rate and review it on whatever platform you're listening on. Obviously, thank you, Finland, if you're listening. I am number 25, as I mentioned on your charts. That's amazing. We need to get it up in Britain. So I'm on 148 at the minute in the charts. Let's see if we can get a little higher. So if you can rate and review it, that would be amazing. You can also sign up for my newsletter, which is going to be starting again soon in the summer. It's a bit delayed due to everything that's been going on, but I will be starting that up again soon. You can visit my website, herhandmadehustle.co.uk, if you'd like some one-to-one business help and advice. I'm here. It's what I do. It's my new venture. So if anybody wants to talk to me one-to-one, drop me an email. I'll see how I can help you. But thank you for listening. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and I will join you next time for my next episode. Take care. Bye.